You are gifted with the wonderful ability to mold your environment, to mold your space, the space around you, so that it can be in tandem with your desires, with your hopes, and with your aspirations. Your environment is able to vibrate along the same positive frequencies with you, provided you take charge and mold it to obey you, to obey your commands. Nature is a good teacher, provided we are willing to learn from it. It teaches many a lesson if we subject ourselves to it and allow its lessons to influence us, its lessons to bring about positive change in our lives, its lessons to impact us positively. The bird builds its nest so that at a later stage it can benefit from it. It knows that if it doesn't work on its nest, no one will. No one will attend to its nest. It remains its responsibility, it remains its duty, it remains its task to work on its nest. Other fellow birds are also hard at work, and they have no time to pay attention to what's happening at this nest. They're busy building their own nests, because they know that if they desire to rest at night, they must create a good nest while the sun is still shining. They must do it. They have to do it during the day. I once sat down under a tree and watched a bird as it built its nest. It took hours to make the structure, and the bird did not give up. It kept on working on it. It kept on focusing on it. It kept on doing what it was supposed to do. It was extremely amazing to watch this little creature being so dedicated to its purpose, so dedicated to what meant a lot to it. It was so dedicated to what was of critical importance to be done.
You are gifted with a wonderful ability to mold your environment so that it can be in tandem with your desires. Your environment is able to vibrate along the same positive frequencies with you, provided you take charge and mold it to obey you. Nature is a good teacher, provided we are willing to learn from it. It teaches many a lesson if we subject ourselves to it and allow its lessons to influence us, its lessons to impact us positively. A bird builds its nest so that at a later stage it can benefit from it, so that it can use that nest to bring up its family, to nurture its family, to take care of its family. A bird builds its nest so that at a later stage it can use that nest to further its objectives. It knows that if it doesn't work on its nest, no one will. No one will be responsible for that. Other fellow birds are also hard at work and have no time to pay attention to what's happening at this nest. They are also busy building their own nests because they know that if they desire to rest at night, if they desire to take care of their babies, they must create a good nest. When their chicks are born, already the nest has been prepared. when they are hatched, already the nest has been prepared. The nest has been made available because of the prior preparation, because of the prior planning, because of the prior diligence, because the bird knew that the family is coming, then it made a preparation for the family. That's what nature is teaching us. That's what we learn from creatures around us, from animals around us. There are lots of examples. Even plants are teaching us a number of lessons. They are weak, they are feeble, but they rely on objects around them for nourishment, for growth, for sustenance, for support. Think, for instance, think of a green plant that grows around rocks. It uses them for support. It depends on them for support. It relies on them for support. Such plants mold themselves. Such plants operate themselves, grow themselves around those objects. When they are growing, then they depend on such objects for physical support, also for survival. And that's what nature is teaching us. That you have to take advantage of the things that are around you. Let them help you so that you can achieve these goals that are important, these goals that are critical, these goals that you desire to attain in life. So, the lesson we are getting here is that we can mold our environment to obey us. That we can change our environment, that we can bring about change wherever we are. And that as we mold our environment, we are able to ensure that that environment is in line with our plans, is in line with our goals. We must work with our environment so that it obeys us. And we can do that by either adapting or perishing. So we decide whether we adapt or we perish in the process. Nature is teaching us to capitalize on the environment and on the things that are around us. Nature is instructing us to take advantage of the possibilities that are freely given to us by life. But if we fail to use them to our advantage, we are doing so at our own peril. We are responsible for whatever befalls us. We are responsible for whatever happens thereafter in our lives. So that's why we have to take charge of the things that are around us, because we are responsible. We are responsible for who we become. We are responsible for what we become. Human beings are provided with the ability to exercise dominion over nature. As human beings, we are able to think, we are able to relate, we are able to operate with others. We can identify also with others. We are capable of changing the environment, of bringing about change, so that the environment can obey us. We can dictate as to what needs to happen around us. However, on various occasions, we become victims to the environment, not because it desires to enslave our lives, to enslave us, but because we compel it to do so, in fact, we plead with our environment to act in a particular way towards us. We sometimes accomplish this mission through our behaviors, through our responses, and the way we interpret the situation at hand, the way we interpret the things that happen to us, the way we interpret the things that are coming to us. That's why two people can be subjected to the same conditions and stresses, but they react differently. Although they are exposed to the same environment, to the same conditions, but how they respond is different, because these are different individuals with their different thinking capacities. So they take their own decisions, they take their own interpretations forward, because as human beings, we are different. The conditions are similar, but one person interprets them to their advantage, whereas the other person interprets them to a disadvantage.